Hello, welcome back to Spilling Tequila. I'm your host, Ariana Canner, and we're back with another episode to spill some tequila. Whoo. So we are in January. Me, personally, I've been in dry January, and it's been great. It's been chill. It's been a little boring, but like a good boring. My life can be very exciting. That's a good word for it. So some downtime, some boring time, it's good because I know it's not going to be that way forever. My skin looks great, feels good, but I'm going to cave. Not because I'm like foaming out the mouth for alcohol or being drunk, but because I'm going to go on a little vacation this weekend. Little spontaneous trip to Miami. And I'm not going to Miami sober. So I have a new set of rules because in life, not everything goes as planned. Oh, my new set of rules is going to be only allowed. No, fuck that. I gotta actually follow my rules. My new set of rules is going to be drinking twice a month, if I even want to. And obviously when I go on vacation, because that's some R and R time. By the time I have my first drink, it will be the 18th of January. 18 days is pretty fucking good. If I can do 18 days every month, boom. And I really think for me, the whole point of this was just to have a reset, just for some discipline that I was half disciplined. I was more disciplined than not. 18 days is more than less in January. So like what, 75% discipline? I'll take it. I was not drinking heavily before. Have I drank heavily before? Yes, but I wasn't leading to dry January. Last year I was. And then I did dry January. And I did feel like it really helped me pace out the entire year, just having that one reset. What have I been up to? I really have not been up to watching a little bit of TV, listening to a lot of podcasts. Nothing. Okay. Well, going from, like I said, my life has felt a little boring this month, but then I'm going to Miami, so I'm sure I'll have more exciting things to tell you next week. So, one of my favorite books, I feel like I'm like, one of my favorite books. I'm so studious, is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. I read it because it was recommended to me by a coworker at the time. And I felt that that book was my Bible after I read it. I think at this point I've read it over 7 times because it was so freeing for me knowing that there were people in this world that I could relate to in the sense of like, I care a lot about things, but I need to put that care towards the right things and not the irrelevant things that just take up your time and don't make you feel good. Which is kind of like the gist of the story. It's like, actually, you should give a fuck, but like give a fuck about things that like set your soul on fire, not things that are just like sucking your energy. So today I wanted to talk about the subtle art of giving a fuck. I think it says in the books, it's like, but spend your fucks wisely. Well, guess what? I am in the business of spending my fucks wisely. And we're going to talk about it. Or I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself and you're going to listen. Yeah, so I guess fuck's going to be in this episode a lot because you can't really talk about the subtle art of giving a fuck without saying fuck, 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 fuck. Fook. Oh my God, that whenever like I hear the word fook, which really doesn't happen often, but I just said it accidentally. So whenever I hear it from myself, I guess, I think of Austin Powers with like the 2 Asian twins and it's like, fook you. Oh, fook me. And Austin's like, oh, behave. My man celebrity crush, the man of my dreams is Austin Powers. So a lot of things in my day-to-day life I can relate to Austin Powers because he's on the mind. Maybe I'll watch Goldmember after this. Yeah, I don't know. I love Austin Powers. I think Michael Myers in himself, who Michael Myers plays Austin Powers, um, he is just such a genius. Like, he starred in that movie as multiple people. He starred as Fat Bastard, Dr. Evil, Austin Powers. I'm not sure if there's someone else, but I wouldn't be surprised. He produced the movie. He helped write the movie. Like, how do you do all? I mean, I guess if you have a vision, you want to be a part of every aspect of it. But like, I think it's pretty cool to like take comedy seriously. Like, that's just like the ultimate fun for me, to be able to like joke around, but like make it serious. Like, no, this is important. We have a very important job to do. We have to be Fat Bastard. Like, I want to do that. Austin Powers 4, because I think there's 3 of them, starring Ariana Cantor. I hope everyone watching us saw Austin Powers, but if you haven't, what universe do you live on? Okay. But yeah, let's get into the subtle art of giving a fuck. Obviously, I give a fuck about Austin Powers, so that was the beginning. But giving a fuck, in my opinion, is super cool. I just think we live in a society where we have given too many fucks to things that really don't serve us a purpose or that we truly know nothing about. Let's start off with the example of influencers. I love influencers. I love the business. I know the work that goes into it. Influencers, I love them. I think that it is genius for people to build a brand, do something with their brand, help promote other brands within their brand. And I think it's a lot more time, work, effort, and energy than people understand. So I'm not dissing the influencers, but let's be all the way for real. There are people who care about what an influencer is doing more than they care about what they're doing or their friends are doing. And I just don't really fuck with that. Like, you can care about the influencer, this person that, you know, has made your day-to-day life better, has been relatable for you, has helped you not feel alone, but you do have to put yourself first. And I'm a very like deep person. I like to know what makes you you. What do you want to do with your life? What's something you haven't done you want to? How have you been hurt before? How did you learn from the pain? Like, I want to talk about all things that make you you, that can help you grow, that can help me grow. And I feel like I'm living in a world where I can have those conversations with very few people, but some people, we can categorize it. And there are so many people that I am sweating bullets around. I'm like listening to crickets when I'm around them because there's nothing I can talk about unless it's superficial that they're going to understand. And I don't want to lose any more brain cells than I already have. Like, for someone I don't really want to have a conversation with. If I'm going to lose brain cells, it's going to be for me on my own. A great example is the Hawk Tua girl, okay? And I'm not saying she's a really influencer, I mean, but like, she became like a celebrity personality. Like, people were invested in her life because the story was just outrageous. Great story. Honestly, iconic. But she's in some like scandal with whatever. Bitcoin, I don't fucking know. Stock market, I have no idea. Because I won't research it. I will not let myself research it because I don't really give a shit. Like, I have so much on my plate that I have to focus on. The Hawk Tua girl fleeing the country, going to jail, whatever happened there, I shouldn't even know that much, but it's all over everywhere and people are talking about it. I don't have time for it nor to care about it. Is it an interesting story? Yeah. But it's not really what I want to have a conversation about. And I feel like a lot of people that I've had conversations with or that I see online are more likely to talk about that scenario than any scenario that could give you a better understanding of who they truly are, could give them a better understanding of who they are, or them trying to find out about you. I think that is a good example of, where not to give your fucks. And then I know there's very big influencers that have done a lot of really great changes in people's lives. They made them happier, relatable, like things I was saying before. And I think it's so okay to feel the connection that you have with these people. I think that's a part of the process and how it's supposed to go. But I don't think that should be your livelihood and the only thing you talk about, or something you even really like gossip about. I think that it's normal to talk about it with people and see if they had the same kind of outlook you had, or if it was different, and just kind of compare and contrast and understand why you felt that way for someone, or how someone made you feel that way. But it's not normal for you to think you know these people's lives or gossip about their lives, or you're more willing to talk about their lives than your own. Let's make a little change, okay? Let's make a little change. That brings me to another point that falls into this category, kind of helps explaining it. Why are we giving a fuck about things that are superficial and things that are shallow? It's okay for entertainment purposes, but if like that's really something that is living rent free in your mind, that is not okay. There are so many better fucks to give. Like, do you like your job? Do you give a fuck about what you do? Does it drive you? Does it make you feel good at night? Can you lay your head down on the pillow because of your career is satisfying you? That's a great fuck to give. Are your relationships with others healthy? Are you being respected? That's a major, 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 major fuck to give, and something that you should be fixated on. Are you traveling the world if that's what you want to do? Are you doing what you want to do in life? Do you feel fulfilled? Another fuck to give, because in these scenarios, if you're not doing things that you want to do, if you're not being respected by the people around you, if you're not satisfied in your career, something that you give your whole life to, things need to change. And things can change, but you have to be the one to change them. I feel like I sound like so philosophical. Like, welcome to Ari's talk. Not TED Talk, Ari Talk. And if you are hanging out with people that you can't have those conversations with, or people that make you feel weird or don't know how to respond to those conversations, another fuck to give. You gotta find the people you can have those conversations with. And this all bleeds into the point that I've said on many episodes. You don't want to have regret one day that you lived vicariously through other people's lives and didn't live to your full potential. I want stories to tell my kids, my grandkids. I want to be a legend. I want to be like, you know what I did? Let's roll the tapes back. Let's listen to it. Let's talk about it. But my grandmother passed away. And my grandmother, I called her Noni. Noni was so important to me. And Noni was a legend. Like, the stories that she gave me, I could write a book about. I mean, she was a hippie. She grew up in Center City, Philadelphia. And Center City, Philadelphia, like 60, 70 years ago, as a kid, teenager, was just like a whole different world. Like, and as a hippie, she smoked weed. She told me a story that her mother, so my great grandmother, went into my Noni's bedroom and found a pipe and marijuana. And she had no idea what the marijuana was, but the pipe looked bad, so she took the pipe. Like, what, Noni? There's like these Monopoly pieces. They're like big statues in the city. And my Noni told me that she would go and sit on the Monopoly pieces with her friends. And her friends were like the outcast in school. They were like the weird ones. My grandmother had a lot of acne, so she said she was like bullied from that. So she was an outcast. But her and the outcast friends would go and sit on these Monopoly pieces in Center City, Philadelphia, and give each other hickeys for fun. Just like, I mean, I'm not saying I want to go sit on Monopoly pieces and give hickeys, but I want a pretty. Another story, she missed Woodstock because she got married that weekend and she regretted it for the rest of her life. The stories go on. I will share more of them. Just this episode isn't just Noni stories, but that's just a glimpse of like these like crazy iconic stories that my grandmother gave me. And it made me want to live my best life. I didn't grow up in like a home where it was like, you need to be this perfect girl and do no wrong and be a scholar and all of that. Like, I grew up in a home where my grandmother would like blast Elvis music as we cleaned, and like we would make everything fun. Like, there was nothing that we did that wasn't fun. She was truly the life of the party, and I think she blessed me with a little bit of the party lifeness, which I am forever so grateful for. And she really didn't give a fuck about anything unless it was something she loved, unless it was someone that she loved, something that she loved. Then she cared so deeply about it and was the person that was just truly always there if you needed her. And she also didn't care about growing up. She thought it was an honor to age. Like, another year on this world, another year survived, another year of stories to tell. And she did not care about aging. And thank God she gave me a little piece of that, because when I hear people in their 20s and 30s and 40s saying that they're old, I'm pissed, because it just doesn't make sense. And I don't want to live a life thinking that I'm old when I'm 29 years old. Like, I don't understand. I felt like a kid still for most of my 20s. I was so confused about everything. I'm hoping that my 30s is finally when I enter adulthood. A little bit of story time into giving a fuck about the important things. Don't give a fuck about the age that you are. Just because there's a group of people that are 29 years old doesn't mean that every person that is 29 is in the same boat. It's not like, oh, we're over the age of 23 and we're all about to be old. Like, one 23-year-old might have a multi-billion-dollar business. The other 23-year-old not work and still trying to get their life together, which is very valid. But it just goes to show the difference. Not everyone's the same. You can't just categorize people with a number. The group of people in their 70s, some 70-year-olds look like they're still 50. Some 70-year-olds look like they're 80. Like, truthfully, I think it's how much you take care of yourself, genetics, doing what you want in life. Like, there's a lot that goes into play. Another thing that grinds my gears is the shallow nature around mental health, or the ignorant nature, truly, around mental health. Mental health is so important. And I feel like we live in a world where it's frowned upon to take care of your mental health. And it's looked at as if taking care of your mental health is admitting that there's something wrong with you, and that's just a problem in itself, and you're fucked. But I look at it as we all need some kind of mental help. Like, maybe there's some people that naturally are just better at taking care of their minds or focus on it more, but our mind needs attention. If we go to the gym and we work out our body to look good and feel good, why wouldn't we have to work out the thoughts in our mind that we can hear that no one else can, that literally drives us everywhere in life? It's a part of our every second of life. So I see the importance of mental health and taking care of your thoughts, and I don't understand why it's frowned upon to do so. I think we're creating a larger problem by looking down on medicine or therapy and giving these things that help you a bad rep, because now we have these people whose mental health is fucked, but they're not giving a fuck about it because they're embarrassed. That's horrible. That's truly horrible. I want everyone's mind to be a great place. And it's not always going to be a great place, but I want it to be majority of the time, or at least when, it's not a great place, you know how to get through it and you feel comfortable within you trust yourself to take care of it, and you have people around you that can help you. But that takes difficult conversations, surrounding yourself with people that you can have those conversations with, that are mature enough and give a fuck enough about the right things. You can't go and talk about your mental health to people that don't give a fuck about their mental health. They're going to make you feel strange for it. I can't tell you how many times I felt crazy talking about my mind or things that have happened in my life. And I'm not just bashing the people that I've had these conversations with that made me feel off, because I understand that maybe they just haven't got to that point of their life yet. Or it's a pretty shitty feeling to feel like you can't tell your story or talk about the things that go on in your mind. The more people that take care of their mind and understand themselves to then be understood, the better. The better conversations you're having, the more people staying in their lane, worried about what they're doing. Let's keep that going. Ignoring your mental health or other people's mental health to appear healthy and fine is ass backwards. Okay. Now, I don't care what people have to say about me or I don't give a fuck what people have to say about me. Not spending fucks there, because if I give a fuck about what people have to say about me, then I'm not giving a fuck about what my actual life is. Now, if someone that cares about me is saying something to me, I give a fuck about that. We all need a little reality check from time to time. The best friends in your life are going to be the people that call you out. And when they see you acting off, they tell you about it. And you should trust them to listen to them and not be in denial. I know that I always want the hard truth. I'm like, give it to me. I can handle it. As long as it comes from a caring perspective, I want to be self-aware. I think that's a part of living my best life. I don't give a fuck what people say. I give a fuck about what I'm doing. I want to be traveling the world. If I want to go on a boat, I want to go on a boat. If I want to go and eat food in freaking Thailand, I want to go to Thailand to go get some pad thai. Like, I want to be able to do whatever my heart desires in this world, and I want to have meaningful relationships with myself and others along the way. But if I'm listening to what people think they know about me, I'm not focused on that. So I'm not going to let a false reality and narrative take some of my fucks that I need to spend on creating the best life possible. Spend your fucks wisely. I also have recognized the people that create false narratives or images or surrounding someone else. They're spending their fucks in that way. That's awful. That's so awful. You should spend your fucks for yourself. And it's pure avoidance, because you're avoiding doing the work and looking within yourself. So you're buying time being fixated on someone else's life. And that's all weird. That's so weird. We need to look at that like it's weird, so that people stop doing it and they don't feel comfortable doing it. Because the person that they're normally talking about too typically doesn't even think about them. I know for myself, honestly, being mean and talking negatively just showcases the world has fucked you over, which the world's fucked me over too. You're not alone there. And you just haven't overcame it yet. You haven't got through it. And how you're acting is showing people exactly how you are. Do you want a great story to tell, to strengthen? Or do you want to be looked at as a mean person, lost cause, someone that's just negative because life fucked you over. No. I mean, unless you want that, I wouldn't want that. I could go on about this topic for a really long time, and I would love to hear input on this if this resonates, or if you have anything that you thought of while this was happening. Any kind of feedback, good, bad, whatever. Say it to me. Don't say it to someone else. But I think the moral of the story is I give a fuck about the things I can control. I don't give a fuck about the things I can't control. I give a fuck about feelings. I give a fuck about living a great life. I give a fuck about being happy, healthy, and wealthy. I don't give a fuck about things that are out of my control or make me feel less of a human. Boom. I have 2 questions I'm going to answer. Let's get into it. Am I the asshole for asking my friend to check before inviting other friends to group events? I've been wanting 2 of my friends to meet each other for a while. After one of them asked me if I seen a new movie yet, I thought it would be a nice occasion to watch the movie together and then go to a nice cafe after. I created a group chat and started to organize the whole thing until my second friend added one of his friends / hookups to the group. I got quite annoyed at this. I wanted this occasion to be for him to meet my other friend. I decided to not make that big of a deal out of this. I just wanted him to not do the same in the future. I decided to just text him privately and ask him to check with me in the future before bringing other people along. I was prepared for a bit of a snappy reply, but I was quite shocked by his reply. In response to my one line, he wrote a huge wall of text accusing me of being, in parentheses, ultra German. And that he is done with me giving orders like that. I'm still struggling with how aggressively he wrote that message, and it kind of confirmed the fears I have regarding the future of our friendship. For years, I've been feeling as if I'm walking on eggshells around T to avoid his outburst. Does he have a point? Am I being overly controlling? But even then, is it such a big issue that it justifies basically calling me a Nazi? Well, I'm Jewish, so I'm scared. I'm kidding. I think that it's totally uncalled for to disrespect someone's boundary, and it's totally normal to have boundaries set in place. I have certain friends that I want to do certain things with, whether it's because I know they're comfortable with certain things, maybe their interests are different. Maybe I think I think all of my friends would get along well, but if there were the case that I thought 2 people wouldn't get along together or the dynamic would be weird, I know a good example is my friend Alex. She's married and she has a kid. So she does a lot of things with other parents who have kids and like keep that group together. And then her friends who like really haven't had kids yet, she does things with separately. And I think that's a really good boundary, and it's respectable and it makes sense. So that's an example that comes to mind for me, and I respect all of her boundaries. I think that's super, super harsh. And I think that when you grow up, sometimes you grow apart from friends. I have no context on how long you've been friends with this person, but it sounds like you're friends with someone who is not growing and isn't respecting your boundaries. And I don't want to be friends with anyone who's not respecting my boundaries. So I don't think you're an asshole for having feelings and sharing them. Absolutely not. Now, do I think you're a Nazi? No, I'm kidding. So this is a funny example. People will tell you exactly who they are. So your friend's calling you a Nazi, but what is he? Okay? The boys are fighting. Not the girls this time. Am I the asshole for not going to my cousin's wedding? My cousin's wedding is in a few days and I am invited. We are a bit distant, but whenever we meet, we have fun together. However, I'm a med student and currently doing an internship while studying for an upcoming examination, which is a major point for my career. The trip will take 4 or 5 days out of my time. I'm a bit hesitant about that. Moreover, I went to the ring ceremony back a few months ago that I didn't feel welcome. Mind you, nobody had a problem with me. being there, just that everybody seemed too busy with themselves and I felt I was hanging out alone. My cousin was too busy as she was the center of many rituals, and honestly, I don't blame her for that. I am from the mother's side of the bride, my cousin, and most of the guests there are going to be from the father's side of my cousin, most of them whom I barely know, and I feel like an intruder among them. My experience in the previous ceremony is also a reason for this decision. I feel bad for missing out on her big day, and we have more or less of a good relationship. Am I the asshole? So, I don't know. I have a lot of mixed emotions about family by blood because it's not the people that you chose to have in your life. Although I think it's beautiful, like, to have a family and for everyone to get along, but I know that's not always the scenario, or not even everyone get along, but everyone be there for each other. So if and then also when it comes to weddings, like, I really want the people that I can count on and that I truly know and truly know me to be there on my wedding. I don't need a bunch of people that I'm throwing a party for to get together that, like, I barely know, or that, like, I wouldn't call during the week or go to, like, if I needed help. So I'm biased in that sense, but I think it comes down to, do you want to have a relationship with this person? Because if you don't go to the wedding, I doubt you'll ever be invited to anything again. And if you don't care about that, then whatever. And also, I mean, that in itself is kind of a boundary. If a school is really the main thing, like, I think that you could express your happy wishes for them, but that school is right now your priority. I just think you wouldn't even be questioning it if you guys had that great relationship. Take some time to think about it, weigh out the pros and the cons, and if, like, you would be sad if you wouldn't be invited to something later on or have a connection later on, I would say suck it up and go. But if none of that is an issue, then do you. Just know what the consequences are going to be. You have to put yourself first in this world. Deep. But yeah, okay. Well, this was a fun episode. I am so excited for vacation. I'm so excited to talk to everyone that listens. Could you please subscribe, follow, comment, slide in my DMs, whatever you want to do. It means the world to me on any platform, all platforms. And I will see you same time, same place next week.